Ah! I got pushed off! Let's dive into this river. And we're back on the surface.
Hey folks, so that recent Tears of the Kingdom gameplay session, pretty cool, right? Yeah, I agree. It was such a blast to see gameplay, and not just that, but IG Aonuma himself taking us through a small portion of the game, which honestly felt like a lot. Probably because we'd seen nothing prior. But there is still tons to see in this game. The rest of the overworld and its changes, the full span of the Sky Islands, or Skylands, or Hyrule, whatever you want to call this majestic part of the game, and then there is still the inevitable underground to explore. And hey, there might even be expanded areas going further out from the borders Breath of the Wild set down. Not to mention the possibility of underwater exploration still possibly being a part of this game. I can dream. I need a moment to take it all in again. Oh my god, the Zona! I am bloody buzzing for this game, if you couldn't tell, and I cannot express that enough. I have tons of videos planned leading up to the release, and then of course many more after. Today, I want to discuss some things spotted in the gameplay that maybe went a little under the radar due to all of the other awesome stuff showing off. Today, we're going to take a look at some potentially new side quests found in this gameplay session. Let's do this. Be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink, and sentiments get featured right here. And also be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out. And let's get into this one. The first new potential side quest I'd like to discuss is actually one seen very early on in the gameplay. As Link rides towards the Dueling Peaks stable, we see a Korok standing by the main path, saying, "I need to reach my friend." Or, sorry, "I need to reach my friend." I don't know how Koroks sound. Whilst looking up at the sky, we can also see that this little dude has a rather packed backpack on. Certainly prepared for an adventure. I hope he's got his snack or drink in there. When NPCs in the overworld have little text bubbles like this, it often means there is a side quest there to be taken on if you speak to them. Assuming this, what could the side quest here be? Well, obviously we're going to try and find someone. My immediate thoughts would be either Hestu or the Great Deku Tree. It could be either, but I side a little bit more with it being Hestu. Whilst the Great Deku Tree is missing in what we've seen so far of Tears of the Kingdom, I don't think the Koroks would refer to him as just a friend. I would imagine they'd view him as a father or something along those lines. Whereas with Hestu, I could very much see him being referred to as a friend. I mean, just look at him. He's everybody's friend. Such a nice guy. Perhaps Hestu is who we're going to try and find, and he's actually with the Great Deku Tree. It's speculative, but an idea that's been going around for a while is that the Great Deku Tree could have lifted up into Hyrule. We've seen other existing structures and landmarks of the kingdom rise, so it's definitely not beyond the realms of possibility. What if this has happened and Hestu is up there too, making our quest with this Korok to go and find Hestu and probably the Great Deku Tree as well. On the other hand, it could actually just be Hestu that's lost. Perhaps he's somehow stuck on an island. Heck, I wouldn't say it's too far-fetched to say maybe he's stuck underground. There could be a lot of different scenarios. I think it'll definitely involve either the sky or underground though. Likely the sky, as the Korok is looking up. Unless that's his backpack weighing him down. I guess we'll find out soon. The next potential side quest seen in this gameplay is something a lot of people have pointed out, and that is these building sites. Or at least that's what they look like. We've seen a total of 3. One here across from the Dueling Peaks stable, another just a bit down from it, and then one at the very end of the session next to where Link dives into the water. And by the way, I love this part. I love the way the water trickles down. It's so cool. Anyway, they all appear more or less the same, basic foundations and some wooden panels. Additionally, the one by the river has a pile of bricks behind it. Perhaps these will also be used for building. My first thought with these, and presumably most people's first thought, is that they are going to be used for building homes. The rebuilding of Hyrule following Calamity Ganon could actually be underway, all whilst a whole new and honestly even more terrifying sight awaits at Hyrule Castle. Maybe the people of Hyrule have stopped caring after all the attacks recently. And who could blame them? The Ganon and Ganondorf shenanigans just never seem to stop. Anyway, this looks like we're going to be rebuilding Hyrule. at least to some degree. It's also worth mentioning that these wooden panels look like the same ones Link builds this car with in the 4th trailer for the game, so perhaps we don't have to use them for building homes. Perhaps it's up to us. Or maybe we get more elsewhere. Perhaps we can even make these panels out of chopped wood. The creativity levels in this game are looking very high, so it feels like nearly anything is possible. The developers have put a pretty big emphasis on imagination and creativity, so I'm guessing we can do whatever we like here. I've talked about this general idea for quite a while now, more or less ever since we've known of this game. I really want to rebuild the kingdom and hopefully even make a new settlement or two. Whilst these building sites look rather basic and standalone, I wouldn't say it's too out there to imagine a lot more complex building foundations, pieces, and ways to build custom homes. Now, imagine if we can build ourselves a brand new custom home for Link. That'd be awesome. Now, we can see blank signs outside of each of these sites, likely reserved for whoever moves in. I'm curious as to if this will be for predetermined characters that we haven't met yet, or perhaps have in Breath of the Wild, or if just anyone can move in. Come on Nintendo, let me build Ganondorf a cozy little cottage in the Gerudo Desert. Maybe he'll leave Hyrule alone then. The main thing I'm taking away from this potential side quest or side quests is that it's going to help a lot with freshening up Hyrule and making it all the more worth exploring again. Aside from those two, there aren't really any other potential side quests found as clear as that. However, there are a few little hints that I'd like to go over as well. As Link rides towards the Dueling Peaks stable, we can see this sort of smoke signal. This isn't normally there, so perhaps this is to bring us in and speak to somebody there, and give us a side quest. A few moments after this, we can see a sort of purple cloud or smoke in the distance. I don't really know what this could be, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is linked to some sort of side quest. Up on the Skylands, we see a couple of ranger constructs. There is nothing to really say this is the case, or would be the case, but I could imagine some side quests being linked to them. Probably on the smaller side, like fetch quest sort of stuff, but still something to add to the list. It certainly appears that Tears of the Kingdom is going to expand on the amount of side quests and the quality of them, going off what we've seen in just these 10 minutes. I can't wait to see what else we can find across Hyrule and the expanded world in terms of the side quests, and of course the rest of the game. If this is from roughly 10 minutes, and honestly just a very small portion of the entire game, then imagine how many potential side quests the entire game will be filled with. Not just Hyrule and Skyrule, but Hyrule, Skyrule, and the Underground, with even more in with a shout too. Hyrule itself will need a lot of new content to freshen up and not feel like a complete repeat of Breath of the Wild. So as well as the geographical changes, side quests would help massively with that, as well as the fact fans voiced a fair bit that they felt the amount of larger, high quality side quests in Breath of the Wild was a bit low. So I imagine some of that feedback will be seen in Tears of the Kingdom, and that what we've seen in this gameplay session is already an example of that. Anyway, what do you think of these potential side quests? And also let me know what a side quest you'd like to see in the game is. I'll be reading and replying to all of you lovely folks down below in the comments in a bit. Be sure to drop a wee like down below if you enjoyed, and also consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content all the way up to release of Tears of the Kingdom and beyond. Follow my social media pages linked below to keep up to date, or send in a snack or drink photo. And as always, a huge, massive, amazing shout out goes to all of my channel supporters. Thanks a ton. Your support really helps me to make these videos week in, week out, all month long, 365 days a year. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout upon joining and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting via the links below. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.